for Agent Orange and radiation. And we actually added 2 conditions to the Agent Orange list, most notably hypertension. MGUS is monoclonal gammopathy of unspecified severity. I can't necessarily claim that I know a lot about the MGUS, but hypertension, I think, is much more familiar to folks, and certainly much more prevalent in the population. So veterans who were exposed to Agent Orange now have hypertension as a presumptive disability. All right, next slide, please. So who does it apply to? Well, the entire PACT Act actually reaches all the way back to the Vietnam era and all the way up to the current, and to include some peacetime. What I'm going to start with here tonight is talking about the Gulf War and post 9/11 presumptive disabilities. I won't read all of these here bit by bit for you, but this slide will be available to everybody. Likewise, all of this information is on va.gov and under the PACT Act icon. But we actually started processing claims based on the PACT Act January 1st. When I say we, I mean as a nation. And since that time, the 3 most prevalent grants have been for hypertensive vascular disease, in other words, hypertension, chronic rhinitis, and chronic sinusitis. Those are the 3 most common so far that we've granted. Not that the others aren't being granted, it's just that the volume is heaviest in those 3 areas. But these are the presumptive disabilities for both Gulf War and post 9/11 disabilities, or presumptives, that is. Next slide, please. All right. Now, the locations for presumptive entitlement are here as follows. Basically, the major theaters of operation ever since the Gulf War. And this is specific to the burn pit and the toxic exposure, airborne quality, presumptive disabilities mentioned on the previous slide. So as you can see there's a lot of locations, and I think it was very comprehensive, and a lot of effort went into ensuring that it was comprehensive. And much of that effort, I would say, also has been the voice of the veteran, the voice of many VSOs, and certainly collaboration amongst the Department of Veterans Affairs, as well as Congress, to ensure that it was as comprehensive as possible. But these last 2 slides that I've just shown you here are regarding the Gulf War and post 9/11. We'll talk more about Agent Orange here in just a bit. Actually now, next slide, please. Okay, this is the expansion for Vietnam era veterans, PACT Act, that is. For Vietnam era veterans, I think most people are quite familiar with the Agent Orange exposure and the presumptive disabilities associated with it. The most common method of getting service connection established based on Agent Orange has always been based on boots on the ground in Vietnam. That has since expanded to Blue Water Navy, which is 12 nautical miles around Vietnam, or off the coast of Vietnam. But now it has expanded to these additional locations as well, and during the time periods that you see here. So Thailand, Laos, certain provinces in Cambodia, Guam or American Samoa, again, in these specific time periods. The Johnson Atoll, or a ship that called there between 72 and 77. So as you can see, that actually extends into peacetime. And I do believe the biggest piece that is specific to the Vietnam expansion of Agent Orange, that is, from the PACT Act, is the inclusion of hypertension. And that is bearing out in the fact that that has become the most commonly granted PACT Act disability since we started processing claims in January. Next slide, please. These are the new radiation sites. In other words, these being present at these locations during these time periods creates presumptive entitlement to the disabilities that are associated with radiation exposure. Essentially, those are cancers, many cancers related to Agent Orange exposure. But just so folks know, the atoll during the period there from 77 to 80, and the reason that those two locations, the other two locations in Palomares and Tule are as short as they are, is those were based on plane crashes that involved nuclear or radiation contamination. So that's why they're as short as they are. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so some things I want to just kind of leave you with as well regarding the PACT Act before I open it up to any questions is it's very, very important to please get your claim submitted by August 10th of 23, or before August 10th of 2023, to protect potential entitlement from the earliest possible date, which is August 10th, the date of the law. Obviously, you're welcome to submit a claim after that date, but we want you to be able to take it as full advantage as you can by getting that earliest possible effective date. Even if you don't have everything, if you will, ready to go in terms of a claim, even if you just submit what's called an intent to file, we can protect that effective date for you as long as that intent to file is then subsequently formalized into a claim. And I know most folks know VSOs and certainly the folks at Patriotic Hall, all of whom can certainly help with that as well, in addition to our office. I'm going to provide some contact information for you as well. The other piece that I really do stress regarding the PACT Act, and specifically for Vietnam veterans, is the survivor benefits. The survivor benefit basically means being able to provide a service-connected death benefit to the survivor, which is about $1,500 per month, tax-free to whomever the surviving spouse is. I do put special emphasis on the Vietnam veteran because unfortunately, we have a lot of veterans from Vietnam who are no longer with us. However, I think a lot of the surviving spouses still are. And by virtue of the fact that hypertension is now a presumptive disability, that is opening the door to more surviving spouses for potential benefits. So off the top of my head, I think the hypertension rate among the general population is around 50%, give or take. And certainly it is probably very similar within the veteran community. My point is that this can be an opportunity to help a surviving spouse improve their life by getting some monthly tax-free compensation benefits. And you see the link there for more information regarding the PACT Act. And you can also call the 800-MyVA-411 number as well. But next slide, please. And here's just some very basic information about how to apply for benefits. In other words, resources as to how to apply. That middle one there that says get help filing your claim or appeal, that essentially is for county veteran service officers, to contact them, I should say, veteran service officers, to help you free of charge provide, or rather submit, a claim for benefits. You are also very welcome to speak with our office, whether that's in person or whether it is over the telephone. That link that you see there is a method, a very helpful and easy to use method in which to schedule an appointment with our office. No Social Security number or VA file number or service number is needed to use it. And if he or she is, I'll just say, a little challenged in the area of navigating such things, a friend, a family member can do so for you, can schedule that appointment for you, and we would call you at the time and the date that you have selected from a menu of options there. So the point is that we want to make it as easy as possible to get in touch with you so that we can help you not only with PACT Act benefits, but for any benefits offered through VA. Next slide, please. These are just some resources that whenever I have the opportunity, I like to share, some of which might be a little bit either duplicative or at least familiar to you. The ones that I would really like to draw your attention to as well are those VA YouTube video links. These are official links put out by VA, and they're each about 3 minutes long and just gives you very helpful and easy to understand information, not only about how to apply for benefits, but what service connection means. And also, for, I think some folks probably have heard of VA math before. It helps explain how our rating schedule computes the combined evaluation. And then it also provides some tips on preparing for your VA claim exam. Not all VA exams have the same criteria in terms of time, and some are very short, whereas others are very extensive. This helps provide some information on that, and I think has so far anyway, we've received very good feedback in how it helps manage expectations, because I know a lot of veterans want to know what to expect, and that helps manage obviously anxiety and all, just simply their day. We want folks to understand how much of a time commitment some of these things may be. So that is what I had to in terms of formal slides to present, but subject to any questions, that's what I had to offer.
Great, thanks, Emmett. Any questions from any other participants? Go ahead and just raise your hand and we'll unmute you. All right. Well, if you think of any questions during this presentation, please put them in the chat.
An item or two, just to give you an idea of how up and running we are with the PACT Act. Nationwide, over 653,000 claims specific to the PACT Act have been received, and over 344,000 of them have been completed. That's nationwide. Now, for California, over 47,000 have been completed, received, and over 24,000 have been completed. And what that means is, so far anyway, for California, is over $110 million in retroactive benefits specific to the PACT Act have been paid to our veterans. So please, share the word, spread the word, however you can, to ensure that all of our veterans receive the full benefit that they so richly deserve. So thank you. Sorry for stealing a nickel there.
No problem, Emmett. You guys have been working hard. You guys earned it.
Jim, while we have a moment, I do note that Martin Rodriguez had a question.
Okay.
It was in the chat. It was in the chat. It says, not sure if this is applicable, but we have children of Vietnam veterans affected by Agent Orange. And if so, is there VA support for them? And this question is for Emmett.
Okay, good question. The benefit that is available to children of Vietnam veterans is for those who have the terrible misfortune of having spina bifida. There is a benefit specific to that, but outside of that, there is not a benefit specific to children of Vietnam veterans who've been exposed to Agent Orange.
Great, thanks for that, Stephanie. Any other questions in the chat?
No other at this time.
Thank you. Next slide, please. All right, so I think this is our slide. So, or my slide. So, with the Department of Military Veterans, you might be wondering, why an MVA town hall, and we have presenters from the VA. So the VA, if you're not aware, there's 3 different sections. There's VHA, VBA, who we both heard from today, and then there's the National Cemetery Administration. They provide a lot of support from the federal level for veterans, and really our role in the county with our department is really to expose veterans, either employees or veterans that are in hard to reach distant communities that are away from our ambulatory care centers or medical centers, or aren't close to a VA service rep to get their benefits. Our job is really to kind of get the word out, get the messaging out, and really make sure that we're providing access to all veterans and their families across the county in partnership with the VA. So we work closely to integrate VA homeless programs, for example, into the system of care out in the county and city. And so, we have opportunities with the Department of Public Social Services in the county where you go to get enrolled in Medicaid or Medi-Cal, where we get referrals from DPSS when veterans walk in to get those services and don't have an income, so that we can get them connected to benefits, get them over to Andrew Strain and VHA to get their health care from the VA. So that's really the role of our department, is not so much to duplicate services, but really kind of be a great partner to the VA and figure out where in the systems of care in the county the veterans and their families are going, and then really marry those VA services up with those veterans. We do, obviously, as a department, provide some direct services. I am the county BSO for the County of Los Angeles, and we have a Veteran Services Division, which you'll hear from in a little bit. So we do provide some direct service, but really the bulk of the service is provided through the federal government, through our partners over at the VA and their 3 different departments. Next slide, please. So this is our mission. Our 3 kind of line items or areas of operation are listed right below. Bob Hope Patriotic Hall. So I'm sitting in Bob Hope Patriotic Hall. Most people know about the hall. If you haven't been to the hall, it's a great place to come and just kind of look around, come talk to some of our veteran service reps. We got partners from US Vets, AJCC on the 4th floor, and then our partners with the Department of Mental Health, LA County on the 6th. And then we're also working with VHA to bring some HUD-VASH services here also, to really kind of make this a one-stop shop. Additionally, we have some showers up on the 10th floor, really kind of with our awesome basketball court on the 10th floor, which is open to the public, veterans, military family members. That court is up there. We want you to come play some basketball, shoot some hoops, talk to somebody about benefits, come enjoy your building. But the showers, we open that up to homeless services. So we haven't really marketed it yet, but we're trying to kind of work through our processes, get our VA partners here, really kind of line up so a veteran can walk in and get anything they need. A homeless veteran can come here and get anything they need. Once we have that, we're going to really market that. But a homeless veteran can come get a shower, We opened a resource closet, the B. Cohen Closet, a few months ago on the 6th floor, where we have a bunch of supplies that homeless veterans can get. And so that's really kind of the building. We're, talking to some of the veterans that have been kind of grew up in LA and grew up coming to Patriotic Hall with their veteran parents. It used to be they talk about it like it's part of their childhood. It's part of, it's part of them. It's part of their family. And that's really what we're going back towards with our building. We want to make Patriotic Hall a community staple for our veteran community, but also for the larger community to come in and get exposed to military culture. We've reached out to our active military and reserve component forces to offer the space for planning, for events, for recruiting and retention efforts. So that's really the hall, and you'll hear more from our building manager, George Reynoso, in a little bit. Veteran services, that's really our veteran service reps. Our reps are accredited through the state, which gets their accreditation through the Department of Veteran Affairs. And so we're accredited claims reps that can file claims on behalf of veterans and their dependents. And by way, we also can do state benefits. So since we're accredited through the state really uses us counties to implement things like the veteran on your driver's license, which Michelle will get into in a little bit. And then we also do a lot of policy and legislation work. It's really my job and our department's job to be the subject matter experts for our county. We're one of 40 different departments. And so we work with the legislative affairs, which sits under our office of CEO in the county, to flag certain legislation that we think will positively or negatively impact our community here in Los Angeles County. Next slide, please. And so these are some of the board priorities. Probably not going to surprise anybody, but homelessness was declared an emergency by our board, I believe, in January. And subsequently, there's been a board motion that mentioned homeless veterans. And so we have been very locked in and working with different county departments that assist veterans experiencing homelessness. Also very much engaged with our state partners at CalVet, and especially our VA partners at VHA, with Andrew Strain's team under SIRS. And so really kind of looking at ways to how can we leverage for instance, how do we leverage our relationship with our cities and our county to get that exposure and increase that access for those veterans that live out in Monrovia, or veterans that live out in Whittier, where it's a bit of a drive to get to an ambulatory care center or a medical center. So that's kind of some of the work that we're doing there, is really how do we first streamline our services and our process for getting help for veterans and families in the county with the different county departments, but then how do we most effectively partner with and be a full force multiplier for the state, for the VA, to get those services out. Cares First, Jails Last is a major priority of the board. We currently have one veteran rep who goes into the jail. We've engaged in a lot of conversations with the Sheriff's Department, JCOD, public defender, alternate public defender, to really kind of make sure that as the county's planning and working towards Care First, Jails Last, that veterans are a part of that. And so the VHA has a program called the Veteran Justice Outreach, so making sure that they're invited to the table to have conversations as we develop our county plan to make sure that it's integrated. And just because a bulk of the services for veterans flows through the federal government, that we don't leave them out as a local government in our planning process. So that's kind of our role with our department. Veteran Suicide Review Team, we've been at work on this for several years, but really looking to get real data behind the circumstances behind veterans dying by suicide, so that we can best allocate our resources. And again, strong partnership with actually the VISN on this one, VISN 22. And if you're not familiar with the VISN, it's a Veteran Integrated Service Network. And basically there's 23 that cover the entire country and some surrounding territories. And so our VISN 22 covers Southern California, New Mexico, and Arizona. So we're partnered at the VISN level with that initiative. Several board motions around veteran employment. A board priority is reducing social isolation One thing that we know out of COVID is that a lot of our aging veterans that relied on a lot of in-home support really became and were really impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And so, post-pandemic and post-quarantine, we know mental health symptoms get even worse than during an actual quarantine. And so really going off of our county strategy or our county priority from our board about reducing social isolation, our department has been looking for opportunities to engage with our partners in the VA and other county departments to look at strategies to reduce social isolation amongst our veterans. Expanding access, talked a little bit about that. That's regardless whether it's homelessness, benefits, whatever it is. Prevention. So looking at, there's been some mention and some work done in some of the board motions around getting out in front of transitioning service members. So we started a program through SkillBridge through a board motion that came out several months ago. To really offer employment internships and opportunities in the county for our service members that are transitioning out up to 6 months prior to their actual ETS date or date that they discharge. So looking at innovative ways to really kind of to get out in front of the transition and prevent stuff. Women, veterans, and GIA and Gender Impact Initiative. So we know women veterans make up about 10% of our veteran population here in LA County, and just making sure that we're lifting them up, making sure that programs and services are tailored to their needs and not the needs of just only men, things like that. We've focused on quite a bit. And then ARDI is an award-winning initiative that the county engaged with. It stands for Anti-Racism, Diversity, and Inclusion. Our department really focuses through the ARDI lens on looking at our underserved populations and making sure that services reach them, and we're doing it in an equitable fashion. Next slide, please. And with that, I'll hand it over to Michelle Felix for Veteran Services.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Felix. I'm a Veteran Service Officer, LA County. I'm also an Army vet. Next slide. And I'm going to be going over just a few of the items that we do as accredited veteran service reps throughout LA County. As Mr. O'Meara mentioned earlier, the PACT Act has brought about a lot of change and filing of claims for veterans and also their spouses. So once you come in and meet with one of our reps, we'll provide a comprehensive benefits counseling as far as meeting with you, determining what things that we feel would best suit you as far as your disabilities that you're filing for, how to best put together a fully developed claim so that we get the outcome that we're looking for. Claims preparation and submission could be anywhere from looking through your medical files, again, to determine what we have that's a viable claim, what we need to file for, going over the presumptive conditions, going over secondary conditions that you may not even be aware of. We are trained, and we can assist you in pointing out these things that an ordinary person would not be familiar with. Also with that comes, it's not just a matter of filing a claim, it's a matter of case management. We will help guide you, answer any questions that you may have in regards to your appeal, also check status, and even when you get your decision letter, if it's not what we were looking for, we will assist you in filing appeals at the local level. And also, if need be, we can also file claims to the Board of Veteran Appeals. One of the biggest programs that we work in conjunction with the state is the College Fee Waiver Processing Program. And that pretty much occurs between May 1st through September and October. And that program is essential to veterans with minimum of 0% up to 100%, because this program allows your child to go tuition free to any of the state colleges. We are currently in the process of facilitating those applications right now. It's a matter of 4 documents that we require. And just like that, your child could be going tuition free to one of the state schools. So we encourage you to come in, file that claim for one of the conditions, presumptive conditions, something with PACT Act, hearing loss. We encourage you to come in and meet with one of our reps to get that claim going so that your dependent would be able to take advantage of that major benefit offered by the state. Also, another big program through the Department of Vehicles is the Veteran Status Verification Form, and that is where you provide a copy of your DD-214 or your disability rating letter, honorable discharge copy, and we can assist you in getting the Veteran Status Verification or DV plates as you meet the requirement for that. We can assist you with obtaining that form. Just come into the office, bring your documentation in with you. You can leave out the same day with the documentation to provide to the DMV to get that veteran status on your license or your DMV plates and your fees waived. We also assist in filing for discharge upgrades. A lot of times people have OTHs, maybe for reasons, such as don't ask, don't tell, or if they suffered from some type of PTSD or MST when they were in service, and that resulted in them getting an undesirable discharge. We can assist you in trying to get that benefit or trying to get that discharge overturned so that you can be entitled to the benefits that are available to you. Next slide. These are just some of the ways to contact us. And also I wanted to mention things that were not on the slide as far as us being out in the community. We do attend outreach events. We are very well known in the community as far as showing up to events, participating. We have several locations throughout LA County. So I encourage you to visit our website, and there you could find put in your zip code and find the closest VSO in your area. You can contact us by calling 1-877-4LA-VETS. And we also do have walk-ins at our Bob Hope Patriotic Hall office from Monday, Tuesday and Thursday from 8 to 5. And again, it's a great building, and we do encourage you to come down and visit and meet with one of the reps so we can get your claim going and get you the benefits that you well deserve. Thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, Michelle. And I think I left off on the slide that we're also available Wednesday at Bob Hope, but the hours are different. It's from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We have extended hours. The best kept secret in LA County right now is you can walk in after 5 before 8 o'clock on a Wednesday and get an accredited vet rep right then and there. There's no wait. So help us continue to keep those our doors open until 8 p.m. with those extended hours for veterans and dependents that have difficult times getting out from 8 to 5 business days. And then also Friday, we're open from 8 to 12 for walk-ins, and from 12 to 5, we use that time to catch up on a lot of the admin stuff. But thank you very much, Michelle.
Sure.
I think next speaker is George Reynoso, our building manager at Bob Hope Patriotic Hall.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you, Jim, and thank you everybody for being online in the evening here. I just before I get started, I really want to kind of share with everybody that in case you didn't know, a lot of the things that the department, well, basically all the things that the department does, probably could not be done without the leadership and vision, and most importantly, passion of our director and our chief deputy. They are inspiring not only to the Building Services Division, but I would assume to the rest of the folks that work at the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. And it has been an enjoyment seeing them on a day in, day out basis really kind of sell out and ensure that we're giving the best services that we possibly can to the military veterans and MilVet family community out in the community for the county. So I, in case you did know that, I really kind of wanted to start off by saying that it's infectious and for us, and to kind of have that same mentality in everything that we do. So I just wanted to make sure that I kind of took a second to say that. Building services or facility management, what have you, is often looked at as a kind of behind the scenes part of an operation. You know, you probably don't stand out unless something's kind of not going right. But, you know, we try very hard to give the best to the building, which is an immaculate building for those of you who have never had the opportunity to come out. You know, I have a great team, and I just want to mention them real quick. I have a person that's on the kind of managing the entire operation here online, Jose Garcia. I have a general maintenance worker and Chuck Jester that's been with the department had been specifically at the building for 42 years. He's an immense and an invaluable person to have on my team. And then even having someone that was very recently at the vet services level coming over and giving that insight specifically to how we run the building is also a very valuable thing. So Jose, Chuck, and Chris, you are appreciated, and I couldn't do this without you. So next slide, please. So in case that for those of you that have not necessarily have had the opportunity or really know much about Patriotic Hall, you know, it is the headquarters of the LA County Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. It was built way back when in 1925 and completed in 1926, which means that if we have our math right, our 100-year anniversary is, you know, going to be coming pretty soon, and I can't wait for the excitement and great time we're going to have celebrating that. So make sure you guys already have that in your mind. In 2026, should be in the first half of the year. We're going to have a great celebration, and, you know, really excited to showcase the building even more than we already do. If you didn't know, the Bob Pohl Patriotic Hall was actually the tallest building in Los Angeles till City Hall was built. And it was renovated from 2004 and 2013. It is a state of California historical resource. It is not a national monument or recognized as such also by the state, but we're working on doing those things, hopefully just in time for the building centennial. So I'm really excited about that. So we can go to the next slide, please. So I know Michelle just really talked about it, but I just kind of wanted to put this up in regards to just the different benefits that are available at the building. VA benefits, state benefits, and other services, including mental health services, housing, employment, legal assistance, and Jim mentioned about the showers that we're really excited to kind of really open up and do our part in, you know, assist with, you know, getting people that are unfortunately experiencing hard times and are without a home, at least a place where they can come in, take a shower, and get the supplies and perhaps a fresh set of clothing. And we do that well with our partners in the building. You know, in the beginning, I gave a lot of credit to a lot of people. And again, everything we do is to help support the vet services staff. So Michelle and company, you know, everything we do is to help you guys and ladies and gals really kind of give the best services that we possibly can. So yeah, I just want to also make sure I gave them credit as well. And again, this is just a brief overview of some of the services that happen at the building. Next slide, please. Beyond being a military veteran family resource center, it's also an event space. You know, in the fiscal year that we're just kind of wrapping up here between July of 2022 and 2023, the building is going to be seeing approximately 11,000 people. It's had over 120 different events, you know, whether it's a small meeting, a vet services meeting, or a county event, military night out, you name it. You can see some of the photos that we kind of attached to this slide. A lot of good things that happen at the building. We really want to kind of maximize it for the better, in the sense of, trying to have, it makes no sense to have such a beautiful building and not have many people in it. So we definitely are trying to get the most out of all the rooms as much as possible. And again, I just highlighted a couple of different events there that really showcase the building, from the gym, the auditorium, lobby, our Nimitz room. A lot of great things happening, and we're looking forward to many more in 2023 and 2024. Next slide, please. I wanted, again, in case some of you didn't know the history of the building. Before the building was, as Jim mentioned, a community center, a place where not only for military, for veterans, and for their families, it was just a place where people could come out and enjoy the building. The building used to host countless amount of weddings, birthday events, religious services, shows, you name it. And the building actually, in comparison to the 11,000 that I mentioned in the previous slide, saw almost 80,000 people annually. And again, after we had the renovation, we did lose some of the flexibility in some space, but we really feel that, moving forward, we can really eclipse the 20,000, 25,000, even up to 30,000 range in regards as we look to the future and really kind of expanding our operations to the community. We're looking at it to generate volume. We're looking at it to generate much needed revenue that the department needs, and really, again, open the building back up for all. The building has been home to a lot of different filming, a lot of movies, commercials, you name it. And again, a lot of that kind of stopped after the renovation of the building. But again, we're really kind of locked and loaded and really looking forward to kind of reopening the building doors again for everyone. And last on the slide there is really kind of, maximizing, again, the space and we have a full restaurant style kitchen in the basement, and really looking for connecting with a partner that will help us, have full service meals at the building, and while at the same time be a segue for training opportunities for, military veterans and their family members. So that's really all that I have. Again, it is nothing but a pleasure of the last 3 years to be part of the building at Bob Hope Patriotic Hall. I hope to be part of it many, many more years to come. I'm open for any questions. My contact information is there, and my email is there. And again, anybody looking forward to doing anything, be more than welcome to hear you out and doing the best we can to support any kind of an event, any kind of meeting or what have you. We're all for it. Give us a call. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, George. Great job. Last up, for the sake of time, going to move right into our next speaker. We got Chairman Chizito, Army veteran. You're up.
Thanks, Jim. As the director said, I'm the current chair of the Veteran Advisory Commission. The chair position currently rotates. We match up with the LA Board of Supervisors. So our supervisor, District 4, is the current chair and co-chair with Mr. Al Noyola, who's my fellow District 4 representative. Next slide. All right, well, I don't see my slides, but real quick, our mission as the Veterans Advisory Commission is to provide support and guidance to the LA Board of Supervisors. We do have two representatives, two commissioners per supervisorial district. I really would emphasize that we're here to listen to the community, to be your voice to the MVA as well as the Board of Supervisors. So please come. We have meetings every month, Wednesday at 1:30 for about an hour and a half. We have 30 minutes for public comment. We're trying to support MVA as much as we can. The director's got a lot of great initiatives that we are excited to be part of. This year, we passed some bylaws so that we can make recommendations to the actual Board of Supervisors to hopefully support MVA as well as support veterans. Some of the topics we've covered so far have been some funding issues for MVA, LA Metro's proposed art at one of the new stations, and looking at issues surrounding female veterans as well as homelessness. So these bylaws are something that we're really excited about that will allow the commission to support veterans in LA County as well as the director and all of his initiatives. So please come out, participate, let your voice be heard. Let us be a microphone for all your concerns in the county. And that's all I've got. Thanks, Director.
Great, thanks, Chair. And just if the Chair didn't mention it, it's the third Wednesday of every month. Right now we have 1:30 to 3 o'clock slotted, but if you go to our website, you'll see when the commission's going to meet. But really thankful for you and the rest of the commission, fellow veterans sitting advising the Board of Supervisors. It's not if there's something that needs to be focused on with our department, the board doesn't shy away. I'm sorry, not the board. The board definitely doesn't shy away, but the commission doesn't shy away either. They've helped us really look at revamping our communication, our website, really raised awareness around the veteran community, wanting the flags back up on the building, things like that. And so really appreciate the partnership. And regarding the Metro issue, that was an issue that came up through the community. A lot of commissioners in the department was getting feedback around that. And so the commission was utilized to really raise that awareness, and it works. If you got things that are happening out in the county, in your county, our county, that you're not happy with or you have a concern about, the commission is a place to go voice those concerns. And there are protocols and bylaws in place that will ensure that feedback gets directly to the board. And the board takes all feedback from our commission and all their commissions very serious to address those issues that are being raised by their constituents. I just want to close out by thanking everybody, our partners from the VA, for being on the call. You guys have been great partners. Lots of conversations about how do we get it right in LA County for all our veterans and dependents, and appreciate the ongoing partnership. Appreciate the chair for coming on board and talking about the commission, and definitely thankful for my staff. We work really hard. We're a small department, but we work really hard because we believe that veteran issues aren't a federal issue, they're a local issue as well. And so we work, the entire team works tirelessly to make sure that we show up any way we can to partner with the VA, to partner with the state, to partner with our local community agencies to get it done for our vets and military population. So with that, thank you for joining us tonight. We will certainly be doing more town halls in the future, and have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you all.